Greetings everyone, and welcome to the Nebraska Tourism Commission's educational webinar for April of 2017. I'm Alex Duryea, I'm the ecotourism consultant with the Nebraska Tourism Commission, and we've got a couple of presentations here for you today to kind of update you about some of the ecotourism happenings in the state, as well as Jane Gustafson with the Nebraska Game and Parks Commission is here to bring you up to speed with what they're doing here in the springtime. So let's get started. Again, thanks for joining us. We're here with Jen Jurdy as well, who will be answering or send any questions that you have throughout the webinar to Jen if you can. Her email again is jen.jerde, G-J-E-R-D-E, @nebraska.gov. Send her an email anytime during the webinar if you have any questions you'd like us to answer. We will be hosting a little bit of an question and answer session at the end, so that's when we'll be answering those questions for you. So let's get started. The first thing kind of on my agenda here is the Eclipse. If you don't know already, it's on August 21st, 2017, and is rapidly approaching. I remember last year when we were still almost a year out, and it's crazy how fast this thing is coming up. But it's only 118 days until the eclipse comes to Nebraska. Communities are meeting monthly. I try to attend as many of the monthly meetings as I can to kind of stay informed with what everyone else is doing, and to share ideas between each of the communities and whatnot. Sounds like everything's rolling along. I know Kearney's got quite a good attendance in terms of their hotel bookings, same with Beatrice, and I'm sure all the other communities are doing just as well. And I do get requests from some communities that are looking to get into hosting some folks for the Eclipse, and I say great. You are running a little bit out of time to start really pushing stuff out. But if you're a community that is willing to host folks for this Eclipse, we're certainly welcoming to work with you, and just give me a holler if you want some help. I'm happy to help out. You can find my contact information on visitnebraska.com under our contacts page. So Game and Parks is also hosting some Eclipse activities and that kind of thing at Indian Cave State Park will probably be one of the big ones. That's down near Falls City, kind of in the southeastern region of Nebraska. Stay tuned for some more updates on that kind of thing in the near future. They're still kind of hammering some stuff out. Also, worthy note, the Eclipse 17 Facebook page has over 17,000 likes, which is pretty incredible. It's really cool seeing how much reach Nebraska has gotten for this event. More so than some of the other states that are having the Eclipse as well. So that's kind of a worthy note that I thought I'd share with you guys, and we're excited to have this come to our state, and I'm happy I don't have to deal with it again in my lifetime, unless I move, but it'll be good. I'm excited. Also coming up here pretty soon is the Cowboy Ultra. That's on May 20th, 2017. That's a deal that Jim Craig and I with Angry Cow Adventures, we threw this together last year just to kind of spark some interest in the Cowboy Trail again. Just to put a crazy event out there, make sure people know that you can use the trail for events. Game and Parks has a special use permit you just apply for, and they're more than willing and happy to have you out there. So it's a race that we do from Valentine to Norfolk. It's about 191 miles of the trail that we use, where these brave souls are running a relay or solo running the entire length of the trail pretty much. And it's a cool event. We did the first one last year, and we had about 15 people show up for that one. And the reason why probably is it was about 105 degrees both days that we were out there. And that was some pretty treacherous weather. But hopefully this year it's in May. The last year was in June 11th. This year it's in May, so hopefully it'll be a little bit cooler for the brave souls that are out there running this year. This year we've got 11 teams signed up, and 6 crazy soloists again. Again, the soloists are running by themselves, self-supported, and trying to get as far as they can. Last year with the heat, the gentleman that got the farthest was about 106 miles before he had to tap out. And there was another woman that made it 80 miles before she tapped out as well, which that is an incredible feat in itself, and I got to commend them for that. But we'll see if we can get them to push a little bit farther this year for the soloists. And the teams all completed the entire trail with under, I believe, 32 hours. And they run straight through the night, and it's quite a feat. It's pretty cool. I remember I fell asleep in O'Neill and woke up the next day and met up with some of the runners in a couple towns farther east, and they were zombies. So it's a pretty impressive physical feat to do this thing, and I'm excited to see the runners do it again this year. Another thing that a national event that any communities or local organizations can kind of jump in on is Bike Travel Weekend and Biker Park Day. These are two events that the Adventure Cycling Association, which is a national group out of Missoula, Montana, these folks started this last year as an effort to increase cycling touring and cycling tourism throughout the United States and across the world, actually, by creating these two yearly annual events. So Bike Travel Weekend this year it's going to be continuing on the first weekend of June. So this will be June 3rd and 4th, 2017. And the goal of this is just to get out and go ride on your bicycle with a group of friends. Grab some friends and go out and ride to your favorite store or meeting destination. It's just we're wanting to get folks out to ride and explore their state. They're in their local areas. So. That's on June 3rd and 4th of 2017 this year. And be sure to register your ride on their website as well, because it's really cool. Last year I think we had like 5 or 6 organized rides in the state of Nebraska, and for each ride you get a pin in your state where that ride is being held. And I would love to see Nebraska be represented with more pins than last year. And I don't know if you guys know, but last year the National Bicycle Challenge, which is a nationwide challenge for communities and states also to rack up the most amount of miles per capita of their population, and Nebraska came in, I believe, second for the statewide competition, and Lincoln, Nebraska, the city, came in first, which is a pretty big feat. I mean, considering you're beating out like Los Angeles and Minneapolis and that kind of thing. So I mean, that's a pretty big deal. So we're getting on the radar in the cycling world. Also, Biker Park Day, which will be on September 30th, 2017, which will be always the last Saturday in September in the future here. Again, the goal is just go out and explore your parks by bike. The state park system here has really done a great job at accommodating cyclists throughout the state, and we have some really great parks that you're able to get to via trail, such as Indian Cave State Park, like I mentioned earlier for the Eclipse. If you live in Omaha or Lincoln or Nebraska City, you can use the Steamboat Trace to pretty much get you all the way there, which is pretty cool. There's all sorts of great state rec areas as well, and wildlife management areas to check out. So again, the goal is just to get folks out on their bike and enjoy our state on 2 wheels. So next we got the fishing forecast was brought out recently here, and it's fishing season basically. Game Parks is now trying to produce forecasts. That's one of the requests that we've been seeing recently is, we'd like to see what kind of forecasts the fisheries biologists are seeing for different fish, what size of fish they're out there, and where they're at as well. And if you're looking for that kind of information, this is the document that you want. It's located on the Game Parks website, outdoornebraska.gov, and you can find that. I believe they have a fishing button on there. You can find all this stuff under. But it lays out where you can find different fish species, where they're most prevalent at. So if you're looking for rainbow trout, it'll tell you different creeks and spring-fed creeks that you can find these different species at. Or it'll tell you all the different reservoirs around the state where you can find whichever species you're kind of hunting after. It also has sampling charts, which also show basically they use electrofishing to find out what size of fish are where. And so they've got sampling charts in there for all their major reservoirs and streams that they stock or maintain for different species. And also I wanted to talk about the increasing popularity of combining sports with fishing. So kayak fishing and bike fishing have been really popular and increasing in popularity, especially in the adventure outdoor magazines. You see kind of like the multi-day kayak fishing epics that they do in their spreads and everything, and they're always fun to read, and it kind of inspires a lot of us folks that are out here to go and do that ourselves. So I recently went and purchased a kayak myself, and I caught on to the fad. So, but it's kind of funny seeing this increasing popularity and combining two things that are fun and doing them together. So kayaking and fishing, in the past have only been reserved for motorboats and fishing and that kind of thing. But now you're using non-motorized crafts to go do your fishing. So same thing with bike fishing, using a bicycle to get to your fishing destination and that kind of thing. So a couple of housekeeping items that I wanted to touch on, things that are coming up this year and next year that we want you to be aware of. The Nebraska Tourism Conference, again, will be held on October 17th through the 19th this year, 2017, at the Embassy Suites Conference Center in La Vista. We're really looking forward to having it in La Vista this year. I think they'll have a great facility, and I think we'll have some great speakers and some great networking for you all, anyone that wants to attend. We're also always looking for sponsors for this event. If you're looking to be a sponsor for this event, please contact Lisa Karnatz at lisa.karnatz, Karnatz, at nebraska.gov. She would be happy to help you out. So, also, in my realm, we've got the 2018 Plains Safaris Conference. That's going to be held in April 18th through 20th. Excuse me, that should be 2018, not 17. My bad. And it's going to be at the University of Nebraska at Kearney. And basically, this is a super conference. We're combining our annual Agri-Ecotourism Conference this year with the Center for Great Plains, which puts on a Great Plains Symposia every year. And also the Scenic Byways Association is going to be helping us out with this one as well. And it's going to be a conference focusing on tourism and conservation in the Great Plains. So it's not just focusing on Nebraska, it's going to be focusing on ecotourism in the entire Great Plains area. And it'll be really interesting. We're going to be having some really great speakers as well. I know Joel Satori, the Nat Geo photographer, is going to be one of our keynote speakers. It's going to be really fun, and I really hope all of you can make it out there. We're going to be putting a lot of work into really making this something special and really make it a regional, if not a national conference for ecotourism, and drawing folks from all over the United States and maybe even the world to this conference, focusing on ecotourism. So pretty excited about that, and we'll keep you posted as we find out more and get more stuff nailed down. Also, I'm going to be doing a presentation tomorrow in Ogallala at Mid-Plains Community College. Tomorrow's April 25th, and that's at 7 p.m. Mountain Time over at Mid-Plains Community College. And I'll just be doing an overview of ecotourism in Nebraska, why it's important, how we can help diversify landowner income, and especially with commodity prices going down that we've seen recently. So it just helps fill in that void for ranchers and farmers that are just looking for a little something extra to kind of help get by if they need it. So I'll be talking about that. Also, Adam Jones, who is a wildlife biologist with Nebraska Game Parks, will also be talking about different ecotourism opportunities that can be done on state park lands, such as birding and that kind of thing. And he'll also be talking a little bit about citizen science and what that has been doing for the ecotourism industry and whatnot. So it'll be a pretty good conversation. I'm looking forward to meeting anyone that comes out there, and it should be a pretty good time. Again, that's in Ogallala at Mid-Plains Community College at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. And I believe, quick reminder, if you have any questions for Jen, send her an email at jen.jerde, G-J-E-R-D-E, at nebraska.gov. And we'll answer any questions that you send in at the end of the webinar. And with that, I will welcome Jane up to the stand and allow her to do her thing. So, thanks, Jen.
Thanks, Alex. Okay, well, hello. I am Jane Gustafson with Nebraska Game and Parks, and I'm going to give you just a little update today of the different things that we have going on in our state park areas, as well as some maybe hunting promotion things we have going on. So if you see some different folks out in the field today, or in the upcoming weeks, you'll kind of know what's going on and how they came to be here, and maybe be able to find out how we might get more of those folks coming into the state of Nebraska. I'm also going to talk a little bit about various ways that you can maybe look at what you have to offer and figure out how you might be able to partner with Nebraska Game and Parks, with our state park areas, with some of the other outdoor amenities that Nebraska offers, and kind of build off some of the things that Alex has been talking about, so that you can look at Nebraska as a destination that has many things to offer, different audiences at all different times of the year, and also to figure out how might you go about reaching out to those audiences, how might you make your organization a little bit more friendly to those audiences. So got a lot of stuff to cover here, and we'll get started with our state parks update. First thing I want to mention that's going on right now is that it is morel mushroom season, and for those of you who haven't had a morel mushroom, I encourage you to find someone who can help you identify morels and go out in the field and taste them. If you don't like mushrooms, you're probably not going to like it, but if you like mushrooms, you may love it. They're very addictive, and now is the time of year when you can find mushrooms all over, particularly in state park areas and some of our wildlife management areas, state recreation areas. And to help folks learn a little bit more about that and where they might go to find it, what is going on in the morel world, we have a page on our website, which is outdoornebraska.org/morel. And it brings together information on how to identify morels, kind of what the update is, where people are finding them, where you can go to look for them, some basic rules for going out. We always encourage folks to go to public areas, and if you're not going on a public area, please be sure to have landowner permission before you go. But it gives you a little bit of insight into morel mushroom hunters who will be out. They started out in about mid-April, and they'll be out through about mid-May or so, depending on how our weather is in Nebraska. So that's always kind of something we like to highlight in the spring, because it comes on us and it's only growing in popularity. We're having more and more people want to be out in the field and search, and it's a nice way to kind of shake off winter and get out and do some outdoor stuff. Along with that, May is International Migratory Bird Month. And it's a time of year when we try to encourage people to think about all the different bird species that we have in Nebraska and the species that migrate through Nebraska. We have an excellent position as part of the Central Flyway, and we have a lot of really unique species of birds in the state. We're kind of the easternmost range for some of the birds that occur in the west, and we're the westernmost range for some of the bird species that occur in the eastern part of the United States. Plus we have all these birds that migrate through. So we encourage folks to get out and think about that, and as part of doing that, our wildlife biologists and our wildlife educators have put together a number of different events that occur at state park areas and with all kinds of partners across the state to help people learn a little bit more about birds, to help you learn more about bird watching, to help kids get excited about birds. And so we have a number of activities that are listed on the website nebraskabirdmonth.org. And if you go there, you can search by location or you can search by date and find out where we have some of those events going on. And so I encourage you to check those out and find out what events might be going on in your area, because there are fun things that you can encourage folks to go attend, and you can attend yourself to learn a little bit more. Also thinking of that, excuse me, our Great Park Pursuit program is starting on May 1st. The Great Park Pursuit is fairly similar to the Passport program, where there are 20 locations in the state, and we encourage you to go out and visit the 20 locations and find a post that we have that has a nature rubbing on it. You register a team, it's completely free, and you get your team together and you go out to these park areas, and it's designed to get you out of your car and exploring in the park area a little bit to see what that area has to offer for you. We also a lot of times will have educational activities that you can do at that area to learn a little bit more about the flora and fauna that you find out in those areas. And so again, it is a free program. You register your team, you go out, you go to the park areas that are listed, and you make your nature rubbings, and then you turn them in, and you are in turn eligible for prizes. Now we've added a couple new wrinkles this year. We have some areas that are not technically park areas, but we're focusing on the fact that Nebraska turns 150 this year. So we've got a post that will be at the Nebraska State Capitol. We've got some other posts at historic locations throughout the state, including all of our historical parks throughout the state. And in honor of Nebraska's 150th, we have painted the posts gold, so you can find them. They don't maybe blend into their background. They used to be green, now they're gold. They'll stand out a little bit more. So we encourage you to get out and put a team together, or encourage other people in your area to put a team together and go look for our posts and make our nature rubbings. Again, you can find more information about that at negpp.org. And again, that stands for Nebraska Great Park Pursuit. And it's a program that we do along with the Nebraska Park and Rec Association. And so we just really want people to be aware of what our parks have to offer and what you can go out and do in the state of Nebraska. Speaking of that, we're working with our craft brewers and Nebraska wineries to put on a really unique event at Mahoney State Park coming up May 5th and 6th, and it's called Sip Nebraska. And that is an event where you can go and meet folks from local wineries, you can meet local craft brewers, and you can sample their wares, listen to some music, and enjoy a wonderful park setting at Mahoney State Park. So we have information on that on the Sip Nebraska Facebook page, or at blurparties.com/SipNebraska, or on the Nebraska Game and Parks website, which is outdoornebraska.org. To find that information on our site, you will want to go to our event calendar. I highlight that event because it's one of those really unique partnerships that has come and developed between a park area and between someone who wanted a location for an event. And so I just want to bring that to folks' attention so that they can look at that and consider how that may be one of those things you could do in your local area, where you may have an activity or a festival that you'd like to do, but you don't have a place to do it. And our parks are maybe there and have an excellent place, but they're looking for some of those types of events to put on at park areas. So I encourage you to check that out and see if that's something that maybe could be held in your area as well. Other events we have coming up, and May is starting to get a little bit busier in our park areas. We have Fort Atkinson's Living History Weekend. It's going on May 5th and 6th. Typically they do their Living History Weekends on the first weekend of every month, and so their first one here is coming up on May 5th and 6th. And if you haven't ever been to it, it's a really unique experience where they have a lot of reenactors that dress in period costume. They have a lot of folks that are there acting as they would have been the tradespeople around the fort area. And they give you a little glimpse into what life was like at an 1800s fort out on the Nebraska frontier. And they will be doing that again the first weekend of every month throughout the summer. May 13th brings our Fort Kearney Outdoor Expo at Fort Kearney State Rec Area by Kearney. And that goes on from 9 to 4 that day, and it's a completely free activity where you can go out and try any type of outdoor activity you might want to do, be it kayaking, be it shooting, be it Dutch oven cooking, campground games, learning some archery, doing some fishing, doing some bow fishing. So we have lots of different things to do there, and again, it's a free event just to kind of go out, and it's the equivalent of going to the grocery store and having a sampling when they're sampling ice cream bars ahead of summer. This gives you a sample of some of those activities ahead of the summer. Another nice time to do those samples is on Free Parks Free Fishing Day, which is coming up on May 20th. And that is a day at which all of our state park areas and state recreation areas across the state, you don't need to have a park permit to get into them that day. They're open to anyone, and you can also fish in any public waters in the state without having to have a fishing permit. Again, it's kind of a day to sample those things, and it always occurs the Saturday before Memorial Day weekend. So it's kind of an extra nice time to think about what you might want to do that summer and get out and try it. We will have a number of different fishing clinics and a number of different special events going on at park areas across the state. You can find those on our website, and you'll learn a little bit more detail about maybe if it's a kids fishing clinic, if it's an adults fishing clinic. Most of our park areas will have something going on throughout the day. That May 20th date is also the date of Fort Hartsef's Spring Muster. Fort Hartsef is a really unique state historical park that is located near Calamus, near the Calamus Reservoir. And they have a spring muster every spring where, again, they have folks dressed up like the cavalry that would have been there during the time at which the fort was in operation. And they show up for their spring muster, meaning they're shaking off the cobwebs, they're getting everybody together, and they're just kind of reenacting what would have happened in the spring when the troops came back into the fort and everybody kind of figured out what was going on for the year and they all got organized. So it's kind of a neat glimpse into Nebraska's past, especially in our 150th anniversary, to see what went on out there in a frontier fort situation. Memorial Day weekend is kind of the general weekend when all of our park amenities come online. Our pools open, our trail rides start going, our marina's open, all of our vendors are there and our concessioners to provide things. So I always want to kind of let folks know that Memorial Day through Labor Day is really the prime time for state park areas and for things to go on. If you wonder what's going on in different park areas, or you have things that you'd like to see when are happening. Maybe it's an event that the park does every year, but you're not sure when it is. I encourage you to go to outdoornebraska.org and look for our event calendar. If you look in the upper right-hand page of the website, you'll see a calendar, and if you click on it, it's going to list all the different events that are going on throughout the state for all of our different park areas. A number of park areas will also have an event calendar on their individual park page. Sometimes those are easier if you're looking for events that go on at a specific park. You can also find those as well there. But that's kind of a nice place that puts all that information in one spot, so you can maybe look to see what's going on around your area, look to plan your vacation, look to see why people might be coming into your area if you have a state park nearby, and think about ways that you could maybe get them to hang around and do a few more things in your area. Looking toward the western part of the state, I wanted to make sure that everybody knew that we have, we're in the process of adding on to our Wildcat Hills Nature Center there in Scottsbluff, and we have added a shooting complex out there. It's an outdoor shooting complex, but it allows you to shoot archery, shoot air rifle and shotguns, and some rifles. So it's kind of a neat facility for educational learning opportunities. It's interesting if you're looking for just someplace to go out and maybe shoot a little bit, you want to practice, or if you want to go try something. Maybe you've never done it, you have somebody in your family that's really interested in archery, or you have guests that are coming into your area that are interested in doing something like that. We have a grand opening that will be coming up in June. I think it's in the latter part of June. And we have added some capacity to the Wildcat Hills Nature Center, and we'll have some new exhibits in there. So we're kind of excited about that. And we'll have more about that as we get closer to that time when the grand opening is going to occur. Along with that, we've noticed that we have some ability in a number of park areas across the state to add some more interpretive programming. So we're adding several park naturalists, and we actually started bringing those online last year. But we're adding more naturalists and more interpretive programming in several of our park areas across the state. We have a naturalist that is going to be located out at Lake McConaughey. We've added one at Fort Kearney State Historical Park, State Rec Area. We've added one at Fremont Lakes, and we also had one already in place at Wildcat Hills. We have one at Ponca State Park and in our Norfolk office, and there's possibility of other locations to come. The reason I mention this is they have a lot of things that they're looking to do to provide programming in parks and rec areas in their in the areas that they're located in. So if you have ideas for things in your area and you happen to be by a state park or by a state rec area, reach out and ask if there's a naturalist in the area that might be able to help you plan some of your programs. Sometimes it is going out and stargazing, it's going on a nature walk, it's maybe doing a bio blitz and figuring out, kind of doing some of those citizen science activities that Alex mentioned earlier, and finding out what wildlife you have in your area. But it's just different things that help people get out, give them something to do, and give them a way to appreciate what's going on in outdoor Nebraska. And we did notice, Alex noted that we have several Eclipse things going on. We do have park areas that are preparing for this, and I think they will have some more programming. They're just kind of in the process of putting that together. They're also trying to put together what their parking plans are going to be, how many people they're expecting, and different things like that. So if you are someone that is in that path of totality and you're wondering what's going on at your local park area, give them a call. There may be something that you can partner on. They may be able to help you if you have maybe overflow people that you aren't able to facilitate but are looking for somewhere else to go. And conversely, you may be a good resource for a park area that has people that are coming in that are more than they can handle. Moving off of state parks and on to other types of things, I wanted to let folks know that we do have some promotion going on for turkey hunting in Nebraska. We do a lot of reaching out to our residents, but we also realize that we really have a unique resource here in Nebraska where we have a lot of things coming together to create the perfect storm to make us a really good turkey hunting destination. We have a lot of turkeys in the state. We have a relatively decent amount of public land to hunt turkeys on. Turkeys can be found statewide. We have fairly low priced turkey permits, and they're sold over the counter, meaning people don't have to know 9 months in advance to put in and hope that, and cross their fingers and hope that they draw a turkey permit to actually plan to come to Nebraska. They can actually buy up to 3 permits over the counter. We also have $8 youth permits, so if they want to, say, bring a budding hunter along with them, it's very inexpensive to do that. So we looked at all of these things and decided that we needed to get the word out about what Nebraska has to offer in the spring. And so we're really doing a lot of promotion and doing a lot of word of mouth, trying to establish Nebraska as the top destination for turkey hunting in the United States. We're also pairing that with a reminder message to turkey hunters to bring their fishing poles along, because there are some great opportunities in the spring for fishing. Alex noted a few of those when he talked about the fishing forecast. So we're trying to let people know that we really have something unique going on here in Nebraska. And we're doing that through a little bit of print, but a lot of fairly inexpensive digital, email, and social media promotion. It's been running since February, and it will continue running until about mid-May. And I wanted to make you aware of it so you're also aware of what states we're going to be targeting. And I'm hoping that if some of the folks that are listening to this or hear about it happen to notice an uptick in the number of people coming into your area from some of these states, you'll let us know, because we're hoping that this will be successful, but we're hoping that our tourism partners across the state will also notice these new folks coming in and think of this as a good market to pursue in the future and a good opportunity to pursue in the future. The states that we're looking at are Colorado, and then kind of a broad swath of states from Minnesota and Wisconsin all the way down to Louisiana and Alabama and Mississippi. We're looking at those states because geographically they're the closest, so there isn't a lot of travel barrier to get there, but we're also the state that is the first place you can find a Merriam's turkey. We're the furthest east state you can find a Merriam's turkey, which happens to be something they don't have in any of these other states. And so that's something that's very desirable, and we know that is something that will resonate with those folks. So we're reaching out to our own turkey hunters, but we're also reaching out to these states to kind of let them know, hey, we've got something good to offer. And there's also a lot of turkey hunters in those states. So we want them to see Nebraska as a great place to go and say, hey, you know what, Nebraska is closer. I can get there before I get to any of these other states. We're highlighting in particular, again, the Merriam's subspecies of turkey, which can be found in northwest Nebraska, as something that's very desirable to a dedicated turkey hunter who may want that specific subspecies. But we also have a strong message that turkeys can be found anywhere in the state, and there's lots of opportunities. So if you're somebody who really wants to come turkey hunt and really enjoys it, we have a lot of different things to offer you, and we encourage you to look at any place in Nebraska as a destination, depending on what it is that you're after. With that in mind, I kind of wanted to share something with you that is a video that we put together. We've had really good luck and really good response to doing some videos. It breaks through the advertising clutter a little bit so hunters notice it. And I wanted to also show it to you as something that you're able to find on our YouTube page, and you could share out through your social media channels if you wanted to, or you could use to market your area as a place maybe for hunters to stay, or if you're an outfitter, somebody who might be able to help provide them with guide service. So I'm going to go ahead and play that, and again, it can be found on our YouTube channel. Okay, well hopefully you were all able to hear the upbeat music that went with that. Again, it's something that's able to share, and it's something that we hope is really catching the attention of turkey hunters and making them think, hey, Nebraska's the place I want to go. We noted all of those reasons that I mentioned earlier that make make Nebraska a really good turkey hunting destination. Those are all reinforced in there, and we do have an exceptionally long season compared to a lot of other places. So if you look at that, that's something that maybe we get some more non-residents in here. It can help sort of get you started for the summer tourism season and get some other folks coming to Nebraska. And I think once you've turkey hunted in Nebraska, you're going to agree that it's an excellent destination, and you're going to put that on your must-hunt list for next year as well. Keeping in mind our fishing things, Alex did a really good job of talking about the fishing forecast and information that we have available on where you can fish for certain species and different things like that. We try to do every year a little bit of promotion for our state park areas, and many of the park areas you can fish in, and many people that are looking for fishing look to our state park. So it's kind of a combination campaign that lets people know, hey, our state parks are out there, and we want you to keep those on the top of your mind when you're looking for something to do when you have a a weekend that opens up and you don't have other plans, or when you're planning that summer vacation, you're thinking about where do I want to go with my family this year? Where do I want to spend some long weekends where I can either have as much excitement as I want or I can have as much relaxation as I want? And so we do a little bit of promotion through various digital and social media channels from April through early July to remind folks about our park areas and remind them that those are great places to fish. We use the hashtag Nebraska Game and Parks because we also encourage folks to share their pictures with us on our website. If you'll notice the creative that we have down here in the bottom, those are all pictures that actually came from users in our park areas. And we got their permission to share them and use them as part of their campaign. So it's a great way for people to think about the things they like to do outdoors and how they could do them in a park area or they could do them in a recreation area. And with that, we've had such good luck with video, we decided to do a video for this as well. And again, this is available on our YouTube channel as something that if you'd like to share it, you sure can. And we encourage you to do it. We also encourage you to think about the different ways that if you have a park area or a rec area near you, all the different things that you could do in that area that your guests could do in that area. So I will play that one now.
In Nebraska state parks, adventures wait to be had and memories beg to be shared. This summer, get outside and explore your state parks. Discover 77 park areas and unlimited outdoor activities. No matter what you choose to do outdoors, it'll be time well spent. Get inspiration for your state park adventure at outdoornebraska.org/explore.
And if you'd like to look at some more of those pictures, again, it's at outdoornebraska.org/explore. Thinking about some of the upcoming things that we have coming on, we do have some upcoming promotions that we'll be working on now, and we'll be sending out some messaging to residents and non-residents throughout the rest of the year. We're targeting some of the southern states with a message about Nebraska's quail population. We have excellent populations, particularly in the southeastern part of Nebraska. And so we want to make sure that folks know, both our own state residents know, and some of our out-of-state residents who maybe have a lot of diehard quail hunters, but they don't have a lot of places to go anymore. So we're targeting some of our southern states with that. We're also going to be looking at promoting some of our deer opportunities to some select non-residents in specific states. And we're going to be talking about the opportunities for upland game, pheasant and grouse, particularly in the southwestern part of Nebraska where we have some real habitat initiatives going on and we have some great opportunities for them. So depending on where you're located, those may be something that you could reach out to us, or you could look at promoting and using some of the things that we have going on to kind of boost awareness of your facilities, your destinations, your events, your festivals and things that are going on, particularly since a lot of the hunting opportunities happen outside of that main Memorial Day to Labor Day time frame. This is a time when maybe you're looking to attract new people to stay in your hotel, eat at your restaurant, come to your community. So those are things that we hope will partner well with the things that you're looking for. So thinking about that, one of the things that Alex and I had talked a little bit about, and we've covered this a little bit in other times, but I wanted to reinforce it and bring it back to remind folks, and also kind of let you know about the things that we think are helpful. Our tips for working with our state park areas. So say you have a state park near you or a state recreation area, and you're trying to think about how could we work together maybe to make ourselves a destination for folks to go to. The first thing I always say is stop in for a visit. Learn what is going on at the park, if they have any new amenities, what they have for facilities, what they may have going on, what their season is, if they're something that's open all year like Mahoney State Park, if they have, or Ponca State Park, if they maybe have a more limited area that they consider their high time for the tourist season. Introduce yourself to the staff, introduce yourself to the superintendent there, and build a little bit of a relationship so they're familiar with you and they know what your attraction is and they know what it is that you have to offer. Maybe you are a winery who has a lot of local tastings and they happen every Saturday night. That would be something that our park guests would love to know about. And so the more you can tell us about your attraction in the area, the more we can also think about it when we have a guest at a park area that says, gosh, I'm staying here for a week, I don't know what it is, what else can I do besides maybe the things that are going on at the park area. So don't be afraid to introduce yourself, build that relationship a little bit, and share a little bit of knowledge, both learning about what's at the park and letting us know what you have to offer. And in that vein, ask about the upcoming events that are going on at the park areas, because sometimes if you run a bed and breakfast, if you run a motel, we may have things going on that might be of interest to your guests. We might also have flyers there that you could share with them to let them know what's going on. And be sure to tell us what you have coming up. Again, you may have a festival in your community, you may have some other attractions going on, you maybe have a local parade coming up. Let us know those things, because a lot of times, again, we're looking for things for our park guests to be interested in, and to let them know different things that they could do. So if you're thinking about an event, or you're thinking, gosh, I might like to partner, but I'm not sure what I could do, how might you partner on some different events? And we get a lot of questions about that, and so I tried to put down just some basic ideas of things that have been mentioned to me from both of our park staff and outside CVBs and other local attractions. And think about things like events, big events that you have coming up. Say, for example, I know Wayne, Nebraska has Chicken Days. Maybe you have something that you could do around that, or have a theme weekend that's themed around something like that. Or other local events, or local festivals, or local happenings that you could build off of. You might also be able to schedule consecutive events. Say the park area has something going on Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Could you offer something on Friday night before or on the Saturday night after that encourages those guests to stay around for the weekend and make it an overnight stay or make it a whole weekend? The group that I always look at has done really good on this is North Platte, which I think had their 3-in-1 ticket that they offered, where you got a discount off 3 different attractions, but they knew that you would have to have an overnight stay built into your time schedule in order to take advantage of that discount to visit all 3 attractions. So there are kind of ways that you can think of those things, and think about keeping people in the area and giving them multiple things to do, so they stay around to stay overnight, or they stay around to dine, or they stay around to go to that next event because it sounds so promising they don't want to give it up. You might be able to build some sort of a deal or a package, like a winery visit and lodging, or maybe a golfing trip and lodging. And it may be a park event and lodging at your facility. So there may be a way you can put something together. And a lot of times our parks don't have the ability to discount their rates or discount their park permit, but they can add value to something that you may have to offer. So they can add in something extra like free firewood, or they can add in something different that gives the customer this feeling of, hey, I'm getting a real bargain, I definitely want to take advantage of this. It is a good package deal. I listed some common ones there, but by all means, there are all sorts of other common things that you could do. You could offer a breakfast, or you could offer some sort of another meal or participation in another activity. Those are things that a lot of guests at park areas have really taken advantage of in the parks where we have tried things like that. I also encourage folks to think of things that a park area might need that might ultimately help both of you. And my example there is Ponca State Park. They do a really good job of partnering with the community, where they have a great location and they have the ability to put on a wonderful event, but there's just no way we could ever staff that event. We can't put on those events without the help of the community. And the community realized it and said, you know what? We have things to gain from this as well, so we will help you staff the event if you will organize and put on the event and pay for the promotion of the event. And so those are things to think about if it's something where volunteer help is needed, or it would give people, again, the reason to come to your area or stay in that area later. Or it might be a project undertaking that neither of you could do separately, but together you could. Or you could build amenities or add amenities to your area with the help of the park. I'm sure there's lots of other ideas, and this is probably going to be a reoccurring theme that you will hear from us again in the future, but just some things to think about. And if you have questions, again, Jen's information I think is right here behind me. Please feel free to send those in, or send them to us later. We can always, sometimes when you think of these things, you have a question, but it doesn't occur to you right away. So we encourage you to reach out to anybody at tourism or anybody at Game and Parks and let us know. We can answer those questions, or we can steer you in the direction of somebody who can answer them if it's not us. Thinking in the same vein as working with state park areas, and Alex has done a really good job of this before, we also have some tips to kind of connect with outdoor enthusiasts. And when I say outdoor enthusiasts, it runs a wide gamut of people. It could be hunters, it could be what we call fisher people, which are anglers, male and female, and families. It could be kayakers or canoers, it could be bird watchers, it could be visitors that are not from the United States that really don't know what they're going to find once they get here. And so we encourage folks to know what the unique natural attractions are in your area. It could be a state park area. It could be, maybe it's some sort of a private facility that has a wonderful nature experience for them. It could be what public lands are available. If they just want to go for a hike and look around Nebraska, where could they go? Know what fishing locations you have. If someone comes in and says, gosh, I really want to go fishing, where do you have to go? Find out where the local fishing spots are. If it's a lake, if it's a reservoir, if it's just a stream or a creek that they could go on. Know if you've got water area, like a river or a stream or something like that in your area that can support kayaking, canoeing. Know where your put-in and takeout locations are, and where people could park so that they could go to those locations, because that's sometimes a need that they have. Think about what wildlife viewing opportunities you might have. We're all familiar with sandhill cranes, but there are a lot of other species of viewing, say prairie chickens. We've got the migration that happens of all the waterfowl that comes through, and just general bird watching, or maybe say it's in the winter and you've got eagles that are around a different area. Know what some of those opportunities are. Maybe you're in the western Nebraska where there are bighorn sheep. Again, people, particularly people who can't ever see those anywhere else, love to come and take advantage of that. And if you don't know what's in your area, call your local Game and Parks district office, or call up to a state park area, or call your local conservation officer and ask us those questions, because we're always happy to talk about outdoor Nebraska and let you know kind of what the unique things are that you have in your area. So don't be afraid to ask us. We're always happy to talk about the outdoors. We also encourage people to be welcoming, and I know this is something that Alex has alluded to. This is something that our Director Douglas, has alluded to. Our Tourism Commission Director has also alluded to that. Be welcoming. Let people know that you're glad that they're there. Have signage welcoming them. Have banners, have posters. Let them know about events that are in the area. Have events like a hunter's breakfast or a bird watcher's breakfast, or something for maybe crane viewers who have come in from a morning out in the blinds and they're getting ready to go back out, or maybe hunters who've been in the field in the morning and they're coming back in at the end of the day. Have those types of amenities that make people feel like, gosh, this location is for me. They really are catering to my needs, and they're knowing how my life is going and things that I would want when I come into the field, or when I go out to the field. Know where permits are sold. So if somebody's coming into your area and you're thinking, gosh, I'm going to get a lot of spring turkey hunters there, one of the questions they're probably going to ask you is, I know you can buy permits over the counter, but I didn't. Where can I go get them? You can always get them 24 hours a day online at outdoornebraska.org, but that means you might have to have a printer so that they could print their permit off. Or we have a mobile app for turkey hunters and for small game hunting and fishing. And so if you know about that, that's something you can let people know. Hey, they have an app for that, or they have a way to get it on their mobile phone. This is how you get it. They may want hunting and fishing information. In other words, they may say, God, what are the regs? I don't know where I can fish. I don't know what my limit is. What can I catch each day? We have all of that information, and it's available to folks. We have 400 plus permit vendors across the state that sell permits and that offer this information. But the information is also something that you can have free of charge in your facility. So say you are near a fishing destination, you have a new bed and breakfast near Lake McConaughey, and you really would like to have fishing guides. We're happy to supply those to you. Give us a call at Game and Parks and just let us know, hey, I'd like to have some copies of your literature. We have a mailing list. You can get on our mailing list so that we'll automatically send you those each year, or give you a call and say, hey, you had some last year, would you like some this year? Or we sent you some this year, would you need any more? We also have a public access atlas that's really handy that you can help pinpoint in your county where you can find public lands of information. Those things are all available free of charge. We also encourage folks to know who your local conservation officer is and know his or her phone number. Because sometimes you'll get somebody who comes in and they have a really specific question and you can't answer it, or you don't want to answer it wrong. It's hard to really answer it in the literature, and you'd rather just hear it from a conservation officer. That's what they're out there to do, and they'll be happy to answer those questions for you. We also encourage you to know what's going on seasonally. Know when turkey hunting starts. Know when archery turkey hunting starts. Know when shotgun turkey hunting starts. know when grouse season opens up, know when dove season opens. There's a lot of seasons. I have trouble remembering them all, so I can only imagine if you don't work in this arena every day, it is hard to know what's going on. So I encourage you to get on our weekly email list, and you can actually sign up for that. We have a publication that's an e-newsletter called NGPC Weekly. It comes out every week, and it gives you really good seasonal information and event information about what's going on. You can sign up for it online. It's free. Just go to our website and go all the way down to the bottom right, and you'll see sign up for our e-newsletter. I also encourage you to check out Nebraska Land Magazine, either the print version or the online version. Both of them have each month a list of activities and events that are going on, so you can kind of see what's going to be coming up this month, what seasons are opening, what opportunities there are for people in the outdoors. We also partner with the Omaha World Herald on a website called GoOutdoorsNebraska.com, and that will have a lot of your seasonal information as well, and a lot of other things that are happening in the area and that are of interest to people who are outdoor enthusiasts. As you're thinking about your outdoor enthusiasts, think about the other things they might need as well. In other words, where might they be able to find some gear? Maybe they're going to go fishing, but they need to know where to buy bait. Maybe they need to know where to buy ice. Maybe they need ammunition. Maybe they need some equipment. Where are they going to go to get food for their trip if they're going to be out in the field all day? Where might they eat when they come back in at night? If there's someone who's hunting with dogs, where could the dogs stay? Do you have someone in your area who is able to kennel dogs? Do you have local vet information in case something happens? And particularly for hunting, think about the ability to direct them to where they might be able to clean their game, or a local locker for processing. This is particularly important for somebody who may have deer or big game or elk or something like that. But those are things that really make those outdoor enthusiasts, particularly hunters, feel like, gosh, you know what, my needs are being met. This is somebody who really understands what it is that I do and understands what it is that I need. And I always encourage people to just be friendly and do some one-on-one research. There's no substitute for just asking lots of questions to folks. They'll be interested to know that you're interested in how their experience went. Find out how their day went, what went good, what went bad, and why. Is it something that you could change? Is it something maybe Game and Parks needs to know? Ask the things that might make their experience better. And then do some good old-fashioned market research. Where are they from? How did they come to get here? Was their experience good enough that they would come back? How did they find out about it? You know, if there's someone who came from out of state, was it something that we put out that reached them? Was it a word of mouth thing? Was it another hunter? And then ask them if they'd come back. And then if they say no, ask them why or why not. You know, do a little bit of information, because sometimes those things are things that can really, they're really easy to change. All we have to do is ask. And then thinking about reaching those outdoor audiences as you have a business or have an attraction or have an event that you really want to promote, I encourage you to ask questions of audiences similar to the audience you're trying to reach. In other words, if you think, gosh, you know, I really could cater to turkey hunters, I don't have a lot of visitation during that time in my facilities here, ask local turkey hunters what they would look for. Ask them where they would go hunt. Find out what their information is, and you can kind of answer some of those questions that somebody then might call you and answer, or you can figure out, gosh, what do I have that would really appeal to that audience? That helps you kind of customize your niche. Maybe it's a certain time of year that works better for you, or a certain type of hunter based on the amenities and the habitat in your area. That allows you to customize your appeal a little bit, and you can put that on your website or in any other advertising that you do. And thinking of advertising and promotion, consider where your audience might get their information. A lot of times we find that folks get a lot of information via trade shows, particularly outdoor hunters and things like that, through Google advertising, through social media, paid and unpaid, email messaging. Video has been something that's been very successful for us. We try to keep it short and to the point, and really it doesn't have to be anything that's very expensive. You can find something somebody else has done and ask permission to see if you could use it to promote the area. Things that we have done a lot of times we're happy to have shared out, where you wouldn't have to create the creative or put it together, but you're able to share it and reach the audience you want to reach. If you'd like to do something yourself, but you're just not entirely sure how, find examples that you like and try to put something together from that, or find a local college that might have a program where you could get a student to help you create something. Talk to local organizations and businesses that cater to those same type of customers and see what they do to make their business successful, and ways that you could partner together or make sure that you have what those outdoor folks might need in your area. Look at offering testimonials on your site. Maybe you have somebody who comes back year after year for the same experience. You might be able to quote them on your website and give yourself a little bit of street credibility of, hey, this is something that somebody that does this really likes it. And look at TripAdvisor and some other online rating sites to see what they're saying about your location, or maybe suggest if somebody has a great experience that they post a review on TripAdvisor. All in all though, keep asking questions and keep doing marketing research to just refine your methods and see what else you might be able to do to change what it is that you're putting out for information to those audiences, and adjust what it is that you have to offer to find out what those audiences want. That's a lot of information, but if you have questions, please feel free to reach out to either Alex or myself, and we will try to track down an answer for you. That's all I have today, but I am going to suggest that if you do have questions, contact Jen Giardi. She would be happy to take your question, and I think we'll be happy to answer them.
Since Alex is seated, I'll start with you, Alex. Someone just kind of wanted to know what the statewide availability looks like for lodging with the Eclipse. Do we know?
There's not a definitive answer, yes or no, for each town, but it's pretty fair to say that most of the main communities that are on eclipse17.com are pretty dang full, if not full. So that's where you kind of got to get creative and start looking at your bed and breakfast across the state. Check out Airbnb, and also check out your state park facilities as well, because they do have cabins and lodging facilities as well. And if you're not opposed to hanging a hammock or a tent somewhere, state park facilities would be great for that as well. So there's plenty of primitive camping out there. So
There's other options. Keep your ear out for them.
yep.
Jane from Ogallala, I've gotten a few comments in my office about the park permit increase this year. Can you explain that decision and give us some ideas on how to explain this in a positive way to people?
Oh, okay. I believe we have a series of talking points that I can make available to kind of explain it in fairly succinct fashion, but basically we tried to look at the fact that we offer an incredible value for our state park permits and the different types of amenities that they have available to them, and it had been several years since we had had any sort of an increase, and in order to keep the demand, to keep up and meet the demand for facilities and the demand for amenities that we're getting, we had to increase a little bit just to make a little bit more money available to have more lodging opportunities, to have more camping opportunities, to increase the availability of RV pads and different things like that. We also introduced this year a non-resident or a non-Nebraska licensed vehicle permit, and that's just to recognize that we do have a lot of folks that come from out of state, and we are able to offer excellent park facilities for them, but again, we have to be able to fund that and always have those facilities available, and have ADA compatible restrooms, have shower houses, have several different things like that. And so that's kind of a little bit of what went beyond it. We still think it's an incredible value at $30 or $31 right now, and there's always the option for the $6 one-day permit as well if somebody's only coming in to stay for a day.
Great. And then a smaller community said, how could we get a fishing clinic in our town if they have like a city lake or anything like that?
Actually, it's really easy. What I encourage you to do is reach out to Game and Parks. We have a number of trailers stationed across the state that have all of the equipment you would need for a fishing clinic. It has your rods, it has your reels. I think the only thing you might have to supply is bait and some volunteers to actually go out and have a fishing clinic. If you reach out to us, we'll be able to tell you if we have somebody available to do the clinic, or if you have somebody available to do the clinic, we have all of the gear. And so we have several locations across the state that we do family fishing nights in. Those are also on our website at outdoornebraska.org/familyfishing. And if you are in a community that does not have one of those scheduled, I encourage you to reach out to us. And you can also call your local district office, and they'll be able to contact the folks that are in charge of the trailer and see if that's something you can offer in your area. It's a really nice opportunity for someone who maybe doesn't have an event going on in their area.
Can they find all that information on the website?
Yeah, and they can find it on the website. And if worse comes to worse, at the very bottom of our page, on the left-hand side, we have a button that says Contact Us. So if you can't find the information you're looking for and you can't find who to talk to, send in a question or contact us, and we'll make sure it gets to the right person.
Okay, and this will be the last question unless I get another one here in the next few minutes. Jane, for those with no shooting or archery experience with the new Wildcat Hills Shooting Complex, will they have learning sessions or clinics or anything like that going on?
Yes, and a lot of our facilities are designed specifically for people that don't have any experience in shooting or doing anything like that. And so they offer typically a series of classes throughout the year when you can go in with absolutely no experience and learn it. A lot of times they'll offer ones that are maybe women only. If you have women who want to do it, but maybe they're not comfortable with their husbands there, you can do something like that. But we have classes set up that are for kids. We have classes that are for adults. And we also offer a lot of times some one-on-one instruction possibilities, so that say you can't make a class but you still want to learn, you can go in and get some one-on-one help.
Okay, I'm not getting any more questions, but if someone sends one to me in the next few minutes, I'll definitely get it forwarded on to you guys. And everyone have a great rest of your afternoon.